Hey everyone, it's Marco here, and a brand new management tycoon game called Car Manufacture came out recently, and I'm here to give you my first impressions. So what is Car Manufacture? Well, from the blurb on Steam, they say the following. Car Manufacture is an automotive tycoon game. Start in the beginning of the XX century and create a thriving business. Build cars, manage people, expand your plants, and research new technology. Make tons of money and stay on top. Now, I was so excited for this game. I mean, I worked as a mechanic, I used to love cars, I still kind of do, I've worked in production lines, and I just love management games like this in general. But I'm also not a fan of bugs and potentially game-breaking issues. And oh boy, does this game have a lot of those. So Car Manufacture is still in early access, so that means that a lot of the content is gonna be locked for future updates, there's gonna be a lot of bugs, and there's a lot of optimizations that still need to be done here. But guys, it's a really fun game, especially if you're into these kind of tycoon management games. And what is it that you exactly do? Well, let me show you. So you start off the game with nothing. You just have this empty slate of this environment, which is kind of like the old school 30s and 40s era of America. Hopefully they added more countries soon. But they've done a great job of giving you this overall feel, especially with the music. Now you're going to start off with placing down your various buildings. You're going to need your showroom where you're going to be selling the cars. You're going to need a research area to get your scientists or your researchers to research new cars. You'll need a social area where your employees can relax a bit. And then most importantly, the place where you'll be actually building the cars, the manufacturing plant. And that's where you're going to be spending most of your time because they've done a really good job here. It does need some tweaks here and there, but I'll get into that. So you start off, like I said, with nothing. You're going to be hiring employees and you're going to be managing them. And then you're going to be trying to upgrade your plants as big as possible because at the end of the day, you just want to sell as many cars as possible to make a lot of money. And it's going to put a lot of people off because it's still in early access. But I'll jump into the gameplay now to see kind of what sets it apart. So first up, the building aspect. I think they've done a really good job here. It's really easy to expand the buildings. Placing items is done really well. And the objects that you can place kind of give it that old-timey feel to it. You'll be going throughout the decades in the US history, and the cars reflect that too. So when you're researching new cars, and I'll get to the researching part, is that you can see how the cars evolve over time. I mean, it's just crazy. You go from this death trap from 1885 all the way up until the Tesla in the 21st century. And that's really cool. It's really cool. I love these games where you start evolving over time. And the same goes with the tools that you place down. Now, when you're placing your manufacturing plant, you're going to start off with one kind of station here. You're going to hire your mechanics and transporters to do everything. And they've done a great job with the animations here. I love how the mechanics do their like hammering and welding and things like that. And if you zoom in, you can hear them like huffing and puffing. And I love it when games like manufacturing games like this have that feeling that you feel like you're actually part of this industry instead of just zooming in from the sky and it's just a lifeless kind of feel that you've got here. So props to the devs for adding those sounds, and hopefully they added more along the way. When you start building and you're upgrading more, you've got the skill tree here. And again, they've done a great job with the skill tree, guys. Like, it's really fun to unlock the different aspects. Unfortunately, a lot of it is still locked behind future updates, and some of it doesn't actually do anything at all. I mean, if you plop down like the security guard post, which I was like so excited for, but then no one steals your cars. So there's like no points in that. Same goes with some of the social room aesthetics like the piano and the guitar. No one uses it, but they'll easily use the toilets in front of everyone. That was a bit weird. So there's little like nitpicks, but it's early access. What can you say? The point is the game fun? Yes. Because what happens now is you're going to sell some cars and you want to give them funny names. I don't know, realistic names, doesn't matter. But once you start making more money, you can start having more upgrades. Your research area is going to start researching newer cars, and you're going to start expanding your factory. And that's where the fun of this whole game comes in, is seeing how you're going to be building your factory, new research and new technology that you can implement. And guys, it's so much fun. Yes, there are bugs. There are bugs everywhere in this game. But if you kind of look past that, you're going to start seeing that this game has so much potential to be one of the most fun manufacturing or management games this year. I was a bit put off by some of the bugs, but after a few hours, I really enjoyed it, especially when you start getting these robotic arms placed in the factory, which is a bit weird because then you don't really need the mechanics and you end up just having a huge line of these robotic arms. But what's great about this game is that you need to be optimizing everywhere and as much as you can. And once you start upgrading your production line, it gets so satisfying because now you can have the beginning of the car built at the first station, then more of the car at the second, and then the wheels and the windows and the doors at the third station, and then the accessories right at the end. And once you get that synced in, it's so satisfying just to zoom out, and hopefully your frame rates haven't dropped by now, because that is the biggest gripe I have with this game. Devs, if you're listening, please fix these frame rates, because that's where the game starts to lose it for me a bit. Because once you get the robotic arms, by then there's so much going on. There's people coming in and out of your sales. There's researchers going crazy. There's so much going on in your factory, and your frame rates just start dropping. It's, whew, yeah, I had to take a step back because it was not a fun experience. But it still shows so much promise in this game. There's the little things, there's the attention to detail in the graphs, the different animations, things like that that get lost in other management games. I'd say in terms of the balance and replayability, that again is going to decide if you're going to be enjoying it or not. So for now, they just have this free play mode where you can basically just keep playing and playing and playing. There's no real end to it. And you can go from the start all the way to the end of the game and just try and see how much you can research and unlock and see how much money you can make. But then they've also got these challenges which are a bit weird. You can, say, sell to this UFO. That's a bit weird. There's this one where you're a little car driving around this track, which you just have to do it in a certain time or try and see how fast you can do it, which shows me that you might be able to do something like this in the future, because that seems like a ton of fun, but unfortunately it's just this challenge. Or the one where you need to try and sell as many cars before they get stolen. Again, it's showing that that's going to be implemented soon, but it's just in the challenge. And then there's this one where you're building a lot of Willys Jeeps for World War II era. And again, that's pretty challenging, but after you do it, there's no reason to come back. So in terms of hours of gameplay, I'd say you could get around 6 to 10 hours before there's not much left to do. Because even though the free play is fun, there's not a lot of challenge to it. If you look in the roadmap, you can see that competitors and the stock market and other things like that are coming in, but not just yet. So if you want to decide if you want to get it now, me personally, I highly recommend it. If you can look past all of the bugs, you can see that there is a really fun management tycoon game here. And another thing to add is the difficulty, which isn't too bad. There is a bankruptcy mode, which can make it a bit more challenging because, yeah, going in the red, it's not so fun. But eventually, once you get the robotic arms, it becomes a lot easier. But I'd say the price is around $18, which I'd say is definitely worth it. I definitely got my money's worth, and I'm very keen to jump in once more updates have been released. If you are really unsure, there is a demo, or you can maybe just let it cook. Maybe give it a few weeks, maybe a month or two, and come back to it. Because honestly, this game has so much potential. I also have a live stream of this game too, if you want to see how this game kind of plays out, so go check that out. So in the end, I highly recommend Car Manufacture. Yes, it's got bugs. Yes, it's got performance issues. But look past that and you'll see yourself building up your own car company from the ground up, giving your car names, making your factory feel like it's truly yours. And that's where the fun of this game is. I highly recommend it. I'd say definitely check out the demo if you're curious and don't want to put some money in just yet. But I can definitely see myself coming back once there are some more updates because, wow, this game is so much fun. But yeah, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are in the comment section about this game. Are you a fan of these kind of tycoon games? And have you played this? Have you tried it out? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And so thanks very much for watching. That wraps up this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and maybe even subscribe to find more games like this. But other than that, it's Marco here from Easily Distracted Games, and as always, don't stop gaming.